sector, the president declares, says he invoked the spirit of freedom to overcome obstacles against him during the 2023 presidential election. Troops of the Nigerian army take custody of 20 freed kidnapped victims in Zamfara state as the police in Kaduna arrest over 500 persons suspected to be bandits and cattle rustlers. 4 people injured as a one-story building under construction collapses in Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State. And riots continue for a second day in the Paris region following the killing of a 17-year-old driver by police as thousands of police personnel are deployed to tackle violence.
On business news tonight, Bank of America sees Naira trade at a fair value of 680 Naira to a dollar in 2023 from its previous forecast of 580 Naira.
On sports news tonight, former world #1 Caroline Wozniacka announces comeback to professional tennis 3 years after retiring to start a family.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, fan sports witnessed low turnout of visitors in Lagos and Abuja on the last day of Eid al-Kabir. Nigerians attribute this development to economic challenges.
We begin tonight with a stern message from the president who says the country needs to take steps to stop the bleeding of its finances. President Bola Tinubu made this comment at the Lagos House in Marina, where he was hosted by the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as he marks his first month in office. President Tinubu says speedy action must be taken to rebuild the country's resources for the benefit of Nigerians. President Bola Tinubu arrives at Lagos House Marina from Ogun State. He was received by the host governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, All Progressives Congress National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu, among others. A roll call of dignitaries, including state governors from the Southwest, Southeast, South-South, Northeast, North Central, industry players and other political leaders were present for the first gathering in Lagos with the president. President Tinubu was quick to warn that the nation's financial system had been bleeding and that needs to stop.
We need to take the steps to stop the bleeding of our finances through speedy action. From there, we must re-engineer the effectiveness of control and management of our resources in order to meet the obligation owed to Nigerians by politicians.
However, the president assures the people that he will rebuild the finance system.
We will work together. Open door policy that will bring Nigeria from brinks back to a resilient economy. And I want us to be partners so that we can rescue our country and make it whole again.
Governor Sanwo-Olu, who is hosting and celebrating the president's 1 month in office, says other governors and he stand in solidarity with President Bola Tinubu to build a new Nigeria.
We pledge our unwavering support and commitment to working hand in hand with your government to ensure that we achieve our collective aspiration. Mr. President, Lagos stands right behind you. We're confident that under your stewardship and your leadership, Nigeria will reach unprecedented heights.
The National Assembly, Nigeria Governors Forum, and other stakeholders say they are also ready to work with the presidency.
The Nigerian Governors Forum is committed to working with a known federalist who has used the instrumentality of the law several times to get things done the way it should be done in a federal system.
We are here across party lines to assure you that you earn well. You earn well. And Nigerians are proud of you, and the National Assembly is behind you 100%, and we will do everything possible, everything legislatively possible, to ensure that you have a very smooth tenure, and at the end, this country will never forget you.
The father, 3 sons that set Lagos right.
4 generations of Lagos governors had their moments of reunification, including former Governor Akinwumi Ambode, who has not been seen at public gatherings such as this for a while. Many will now be expecting the president set about the task of financial system rebuilding. With the promise of support from all political leaders at this event, the clock is ticking. Earlier in the day, the president was in Ogun State, where he met with 2 prominent monarchs, the paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Awujale Oba Sikiru Adetono, and the Alake, who is also the paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Aremu Gbadebo. Now, in what seemed like a thank you visit, President Bola Tinubu expressed appreciation to them for their support, explaining in reference to his famed Emilokon comment that he invoked the spirit of freedom in Ogun State to overcome the obstacles he faced in the run-up to this year's presidential election.
The president and his entourage of top government officials were welcomed by the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, and other personalities at the Dipo Dino Stadium in Ijebu-Ode. President Tinubu inspects the guard of honor mounted by men of the Nigerian army. And from there, he proceeds to the private residence of the Awujale of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Adetono, where some traditional rulers, members of the National Assembly, as well as others from the state receive him and his entourage. The president extends his appreciation to the people of Ijebuland for their support before and after the general elections and promises not to betray the confidence reposed in him by Nigerians.
It was terrible day. I understand. And I came to visit to invoke the spirit of freedom, for which I invoke that spirit twice. The spirit of Baba is a miracle.
And at the palace of the Alake of Egbaland in the state capital Abeokuta, the traditional rulers, as well as Governor Dapo Abiodun, commended what they described as President Tinubu's purposeful leadership. The Alake also gave him a royal blessing.
Most of the presidents that were there said there was no doubt in their minds that you had enough time to prepare for this job. And the reason for that is not far-fetched. From your first day in office, you took certain steps, made certain pronouncements that have defined your administration. Those pronouncements, step decisions have reverberated across the length and breadth of not just Nigeria, but the entire continent, and of course the whole world. You have begun to walk the talk. During campaign, we talked and spoke about the renewed hope. Today, we are all testimonies that indeed there is renewed hope in Nigeria.
And we pray that as you have started well as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you will end very well. you will take us to the next level. Nigeria will be able to stand among the best nations of the world in terms of funding, in terms of justice, in terms of civilization, in everything that is good. By the grace of God, you will never have any cause to regret.
President Tinubu told his host that the country needs more peace and unity, while assuring Nigerians of better days ahead through his renewed hope mantra.
I'm determined to help our country, to steer the ship of the nation, build a good team, positive for this country, and deliver on all promises that were made.
This visit is President Tinubu's first to Ogun State since his inauguration on May the 29th, 2023.
To security matters, troops of Operation Hadarindaji deployed to Shinkafi local government area of Zamfara State have taken custody of 20 kidnapped victims after they were set free by their kidnappers. The victims, who were shown to journalists at the brigade command in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, comprised 2 females, one of them a housewife who was abducted a week after her wedding, 3 children and 15 men kidnapped from different parts of Zamfara and Sokoto states. Some of the victims said that they spent between 21 and 53 days with their captors, while others explained that they were released from the camp of a notorious bandit, Bello Turji, due to pressure from the air bombardment and ground troop operations. According to them, the bandits maintain over 20 camps in the forest where they were kept and were fed 2 times a day with food cooked by the wives of the bandits. The freed victims said their voluntary release by the bandit kingpin, Turji, was as a result of a reconciliation with some persons suspected to be government officials. Meanwhile, the police in Kaduna State say they have arrested 503 suspects for committing various offences ranging from banditry to armed robbery and cattle rustling and other related crimes. The suspects include one Ismail Mohammed of Majere village in Saminaka in Leri local government area of the state, who allegedly kidnapped and later killed his brother Kabiru Mohammed after collecting 120,000 naira as ransom from the family. Parading the suspects at the command's headquarters, the spokesman in the state, Mohammed Jalige, told reporters that the suspects were arrested between May and June this year.
The command, within the last few weeks, in its one-rose task of securing the lives of law-abiding citizens of Kaduna State, have succeeded in arresting 503 suspects for various crimes, which includes armed banditry, armed robbery, handsets and bags snatching, cattle rustling, culpable homicide, rape, shop breaking, theft, vandalization of rail tracks. During investigation, a number of recoveries were made, which includes 4 AK-47 rifles, 3 revolver pistols, 2 pump-action guns, 2,800 railway sleepers, 9 motorcycles of different brands, 2 tricycles, 209 rounds of AK-47 live ammunition. It may interest you to know that the gallant determination of our detectives have yielded more results on some of these cases that are being investigated, with the arrest of 6 additional suspects in connection to the gruesome killing of one Alhaji Shuaib Mohammed Arplong Zazzau on the 17th of June 2023.
In part 2, after the break, federal government sets July the 10th for the reopening of both the Akpongbon and the Ojora-Olokwa sections of the Eko Bridge in Lagos 5 days earlier than previously announced. Join us again.
right. You too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Oh, you can reach the stars, anything your heart believes. Oh, just a little try.
Here's to the born hustlers, to the intentional ones, to the tireless nourishers, to the odd defiers, to those who break through the limits, to those who always go for it.
Good morning.
My life is a whole lot easier now, even when I'm working from home. I still get everything done.
Workout track.
And faster too. Guys, I'll make my decision and get back to you. I take my meetings uninterrupted. Video call Catherine.
Calling Catherine.
Check in with Bay. No cracks. Go, go, go! Behind you, behind you! And when it's time to bond with my friends across the globe, I connect seamlessly, all thanks to my Airtel router.
Delivery is here.
Thank you. Be like me. Stay connected always with the Airtel home broadband.
Who are you talking to?
It's nothing.
You're talking to me?
No.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Everyone dreams of a better tomorrow. A tomorrow fueled by hope for the future. And the memories of unfulfilled aspirations. At ARM, we're all about realizing ambitions. And with decades of innovative wealth creation expertise, ARM has everything you need to go from where you are to where you need to be. Join us. Let's face tomorrow together. ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
When malaria won't show power for your side, it gon' knock you down. I'm a temp soft gel. Are you are? Me I can tell you no say. Malaria medicine when no get bad taste. Oh, bitter taste for mouth and it dey easy to swallow. Try. I got red game changer. I'm a temp soft gel.
Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Expect reforms in the nation's financial sector, the president declares, says he invoked the spirit of freedom to overcome obstacles against him during the 2023 presidential election. Troops of the Nigerian army take custody of 20 freed kidnapped victims in Zamfara state as the police in Kaduna arrest over 500 persons suspected to be bandits and cattle rustlers. 4 people injured as a one-story building under construction collapses in Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State. And riots continue for a second day in the Paris region following the killing of a 17-year-old driver by police as thousands of police personnel are deployed to tackle violence. Away from security now, a story building under construction has collapsed in Obiakpo local government area in Rivers State. It was gathered that the structure was meant for hospitality business, more like a sit-out bar around the Okilton Junction on Ada George Road. Although no life was lost in the incident, 4 persons were said to have sustained varying degrees of injury and are being treated at the hospital. The River State government is vowing to bring to book all those whose actions contributed to the collapse of the building. The Commissioner for Special Project, Emeka Woke, stated this after his visit to the site of the collapsed building and the hospital where the 4 survivors are now receiving treatment. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been reacting to some post-election issues and happenings around the Presidential Elections Petition Court. The INEC National Commissioner on Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, says that most of the issues raised by political parties involved are sensationalized and need no urgent treatment by the electoral body. According to Mr. Okoye, the electoral umpire has enough proof to establish a case against former Adamawa resident electoral commissioner Hudu Yunusa Ari following the conclusion of investigation by the police. He was a guest on our program, Politics Today.
The election petition proceedings are conducted before the election petitions court and before the election petitions tribunals. The election petitions court is not about drama. If you want to prosecute your election petition and a subpoena has been directed at the chairman and the chairman does not answer the subpoena, you go before the court and complain. And the court definitely will use its powers to compel the chairman to appear. But you do not do the right thing, and then the moment you step out from the courtroom, you turn to the television cameras and complain about the chairman not appearing, knowing well that you have not done the right thing, knowing that you have not complied with the right procedure. The commission is a constitutional body. The commission believes in the rule of law and believes in due process. And so we complied with what the court demands. But the drama that happens outside the courtroom, the Nollywood dramatization of issues, the commission is not interested in that. What the commission is interested in is what goes on within and inside the courtroom. If we have done anything wrong, definitely the justices of the Court of Appeal who sit as the election petitions court will definitely sanction the commission.
In other stories, the Federal Ministry of Works has announced July the 10th as the new date for the reopening of both the Akpongbon and the Jora-Olokpa sections of the Eko Bridge in Lagos. The new date was announced today by officials of the Federal Ministry and the Lagos State Government after reviewing the progress on the ongoing repair works. The sections would be reopened 5 days earlier than the date initially set. The Lagos State Government had ordered the closure of the Eko Bridge following a fire outbreak in the Akpongbon market in March 2022.
We have come here to urge the contractor to reduce 5 days out of the 15th of July. We are now going to open the bridge on the night at 12 p.m., 12 a.m. night, and by a minute after 12 on the night, the bridge will be open for traffic on the 10th. This will reduce the stress presently on other bridges connecting the island and Victoria Island. This contract is actually for 3 years, and we still have 150 bearings that must be changed. We will have intermittent closures, not long closures like this, intermittent in a week, 2 weeks. This bridge and the next Eko Bridge, there is still a surface failure that has not been addressed. It is not part of this initial scope of reopening the bridge. Extensive work still has to be done. The percentage completion is about 50%, and so other works under the bridge will continue. We will lift up. There are situations where we warrant us lifting up the bridge. We will use 1 day or thereabout to lift the bridge, and then we can open it for traffic then the work will continue.
The Eid al-Kabir celebration came to an end today with some fun seekers defying the cold and humid weather to relish the season at fun spots with families and friends in Lagos. However, there was a low turnout of visitors at fun parks, a situation some blamed on the prevailing economic climate. However, they say they are optimistic that the condition of the country will get better as the policies being introduced by the Bola Tinubu administration begin to produce the expected results.
It is a low turnout of fun seekers at various fun parks in Lagos for the Eid al-Kabir celebration. Some parents say putting smiles on the faces of their children is important regardless of the high cost of living.
To enjoy this place, to keep myself busy with my family and friends so that we cannot be thinking about the issue of Nigeria and to be happy on Salah Day.
Recently now, there is no fuel. The price of fuel is high, so maybe people don't want to come outside. And here they've even increased their prices. It's not normal price we came before.
Most attribute the low turnout to the present economic situation of the country, while others believe it is because most people traveled out of the city.
The economy is still telling on the way things are because you don't see so much cars on the road, so much people outside coming for recreation, and then even traveling down because I'm not really based here now. I came all the way from Abuja to celebrate with my parents here in Lagos. So we didn't encounter so much traffic as we would ordinarily, expect during these festive periods on the road. So I think the economy in a way is biting out on people, and you don't have so much people traveling for the holidays.
Eid Mubarak. Most people do travel home. That's why you have a low turnout. As I mean, is during Christmas or New Year celebration. This year, let me say, this place will be jam-packed, as in full to capacity. But because of the Ileya, people will travel home. Even you see some Christians also traveling home too, because they have Muslims in their family who are celebrating. So that's the reason for the low turnout.
Though the holiday is over, many are hopeful that things will get better as the new administration puts policies in place to strengthen and grow the economy.
So let's head to the nation's capital, and Gloria Mizuke is standing by from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Hello, Ayo. Thank you. The low turnout of fun seekers at major fun spots is not limited to Lagos, as the nation's capital also witnessed the same during the Eid al-Kabir celebration. A visit to some popular fun parks showed that the facilities, which are usually a beehive of activities during celebrations, such as Eid festivities, were devoid of crowds. Some fun seekers who spoke with our correspondent, Benny Ark, attributed this development to economic challenges.
The Millennium Park in the nation's capital is usually a very busy place in seasons like this. This year, however, there is a low turnout of fun seekers. Some of the people here call the scenario a far cry from what was obtained in past years. Dressed in colorful traditional attires, these fun seekers make their way into the park. They find spots where they can sit in small numbers.
The Salah celebration so far has been good, but compared to previous years, it's been really boring because a lot of people are not outside, maybe because of the fuel hike, the hike in fuel prices, and the cost of living has gone up significantly.
It has much to do with, I think, this transportation issue because fuel is a little bit high now. So very few people can afford to be moving around with vehicles and things like that.
For the fact that salary has not been paid for civil servants, I'm sure that's part of the reasons why the place is like this.
The presence of the policeman here is a confidence builder to tell the people it is okay, relax. The vendors here are not too excited about the numbers. They are seeing the effect in the numbers of sales they are making.
That yesterday we thought it was because of the day of mosque and slaughtering of rams. And after today, they will now come out to flex, but we've not really seen, we've not really feel anything.
Today we hope things will boom, people will chip in, and all the stuff. Well, we're just seeing people one.
The scenes at the Magic Land amusement park are somewhat different. The number of fun seekers here is more impressive than what we saw at the Millennium Park. Their views about the celebration this year are mixed. While some believe this year is better than the last, some others think differently.
This year is more better than last year. Yes, for my own side. Baptist is open for me than last year.
So far, so good. The celebration was fine. We were having fun, just as usual. But this year, I didn't see much people celebrating after all.
The patronage this year compared to last year dropped a little. I think due to fuel scarcity or the increase in the fuel.
While these fun seekers are grateful to have witnessed another Eid al-Kabir, they want to have better days, and they believe only the government can make that happen.
I'd advise that the government introduce measures that will help cushion the effect of what's happening right now to make things easier. Like maybe introduce buses, maybe, at a subsidized rate so that people can get around.
There should be a consideration or a subsidized way to back up what the fuel subsidy removal has cost to the environment.
We're hoping that the policies that this administration is bringing forward will ease out the pains and the sufferings of everyone in the country so that things can get better for everybody.
The Salah celebration will come and go. Life will continue, and Nigerians will seek to live it with less economic and social pressure. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Well, staying with the Eid celebrations, 95% of food and clothing used by internally displaced persons in the Federal Capital Territory have been provided by non-governmental organizations and well-meaning Nigerians. Well, this is according to the coordinator of the IDPs, Mr. Idris Halilu, when Channels Television visited the Durumi IDP camp to see how they celebrated Eid al-Kabir. Our correspondent, Victor Matthias, reports.
Bereft of the usual musical funfair and spirit of camaraderie, the Durumi internally displaced camp in Abuja plays host to well-meaning Nigerians as they visit to add to their celebration of the Salah. Meat, which is traditionally shared to friends, neighbors and visitors during this period, and other items, is what was shared to the inhabitants of this camp. Among them is Hadiza Ali, a widow and mother of 9. She has been resident in this camp for 9 years. Against all odds, she strives to cater for her family through a small cheese business. Now, she and other members of the camp appeal to the government to do more for them.
We are really appreciating for the orders, visitors, individual NGOs, Muslim organizations and Christian organizations to come and help us here in Durumi IDP area 1. And we appreciate God. It's a long time that they didn't share food for us here in IDP. So it is our power to go and do something and buy something to eat. Well, day before yesterday and today, we are just appreciating God because there is individual people that come to share meat for us. And we are saying, may God leave them long life and prosperities to empower them more.
We are saying a big thank you to Almighty God that will bring us alive. So we are saying a big thank you to Him. So we cannot praise government. We are still saying a good government of Nigeria. By God's grace, they will remember us for Christmas, by God's grace.
The camp coordinator and spokesperson of the Abuja IDP camps, however, warns that those IDPs being neglected now are likely to be a headache for their age mates currently in secondary schools and tertiary institutions.
I still use this medium to appeal to those with good conscience to know that the innocent ones in their comfort zones may end up to be victims of these people that are being neglected. So skills acquisition knowledge is very, very important. Financial empowerment for those who have been trained is very, very important.
He wonders why those responsible for the displacement of these people from their ancestral homes are being given a warmer reception.
The Boko Haram insurgents who surrendered voluntarily and involuntarily are so kept, so housed, so given accommodation. Go to Maiduguri, go to other places, you see them, comfortable accommodation, each one with a GSM to communicate, to be ICT compliant. And at the same time, they have their ATM, they have allowances.
The Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice, is the second largest of the two main holidays celebrated in Islam, which honors the willingness of Ibrahim to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God's command. The inhabitants of the camps say they have sacrificed a lot and deserve more. Victor Matthias, Channels Television News.
Away from the Eid al-Kabir festivity, some electricity distribution companies may have made a U-turn in their announcement of a planned hike in tariff as Nigerians react to the proposed tariff increase, describing it as ill-timed. But those who spoke to Channels Television in parts of the country argued that they are still trying to come to terms with the subsidy removal and that the proposed hike will only worsen the situation.
Started in June when reports filtered in that there are plans to hike electricity tariff of as much as 40% in the country, and this did not go down well with many Nigerians. In Kaduna State, the residents list the numerous problems they are faced with, to include insecurity, kidnapping, hardship as a result of the removal of subsidy. Add to this news that there will now be a hike in electricity tariff.
It's really so unfortunate because we have not even digested the pain of the increment of the fuel, and then for the electricity company to decide to increase the tariff now is like a double blow on individual and business organizations.
The feeling is the same in Jos, Plateau State, as residents advise provision of palliatives before any increment.
Because sincerely, if they increase the tariff, they're killing the whole business. They will only have more armed robbers in the streets because a lot of us will fold up. See, that's just the truth. A lot of us will fold up. Me as a family man, how do I cope? People don't bring frequently, and yet you're increasing tariff. That means I will increase my price. More and more customers will stop coming.
The tariff is increased, and there is no light for some time. He needs to buy fuel to fuel his gen, to have light for his family, against the little money of his salary that is yet to be increased. And that's why I look at the agitation by labourers. You should have provided a succor that will ameliorate the situation before you propose the increase.
The Enugu State Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, has said it has no plans to increase electricity tariff except it receives an order from the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC.
For there to be any adjustment in the tariff, there has to be an order from the regulator. Of course, you know the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, regulates the activities of distribution companies as well as other players.
A resident of Enugu is, however, worried that the impact of any tariff hike at this time will be unbearable.
Looking at the inflationary rates and how it's going to impact us as residents of Enugu State, considering just like one of the most available and staple foods in the southeast, which is Gary, which before now, like for a penta, sells for 900, is about 1,500. This certainly will still impact further on the cost of including foods and everything all around us as residents.
And in Rivers, indigents also fear that any increase in the electricity tariff will be unwelcome and will affect their day-to-day activities negatively.
I think it is not the right approach now. We want the PHED
to put on hold and then stop that process. We want PHED to reverse that decision.
The president's spokesman, Mr. Dele Alake, in a statement, had made it clear that the federal government has not authorized any hike in electricity tariff, as he asks citizens to disregard any rumors.
To company news, leading brewer International Breweries PLC is honoring its distributors and customers across the nation as they celebrate the long-lasting partnership they've had over the years. According to the managing director, the organization would not have achieved successes and triumphed over challenges but for its esteemed distributors. The event took place in Lagos.
These are distributors of a leading beer brand, partners as a company chooses to call them, coming together in the hall to celebrate them. A good blend of music, camaraderie, relaxed mood, kind of level up the management and its partners. Afterwards, it's time to sit for a formal ceremony where some speeches are made.
The brewing industry is evolving rapidly, and we must continue to embrace the change, seize opportunities, and innovate together. It is essential that we stay ahead of the curve, exploring new markets, leveraging technology, and meeting the evolving needs and expectations of our customers and consumers.
He acknowledges the reasons behind the company's growth and the way forward, a position which is corroborated by his colleague.
Thank you all to our distributors for the assistance, the support that you have given us over many, many years in International Breweries.
This is followed by awards and recognitions. And to the entity whose contribution stood out above others, the grand winner.
Being in beer business, there's other companies that are beer business, which you cannot compare with International Breweries. You can't. You come in terms of the brewery, the premium brands, Breweries and Co. You can't compare it anywhere at all. So, but I will still stand with International Breweries all the way.
They are a huge part of our business. They're not even our distributors, they are partners. And what they give to us really is the distribution support that we need to get to market for all our brands, our products, and great brands that we have. Hero and Trophy, two of the biggest brands in the country in beer. So they are a significant part of our business. And not only that, they're partners, but they also friends.
International Breweries PLC, engaging conversations and the sharing of best practices with distributors fosters a sense of dedication and collaboration.
That's it from the nation's capital. We go over now to Melinda in Lagos for business news.
Many thanks, Gloria. Welcome to Business News. The Bank of America has revised its projections for Nigeria's currency, saying the naira has moved from overvalued to undervalued following the government's recent foreign exchange reform. The multinational investment bank sees the naira trading at a fair value of 680 naira to a dollar this year from the 580 naira per dollar it had earlier forecast. However, analysts at the bank say the naira may trade at 700 naira against the dollar by the end of the year and return to about 650 to 680 in early 2024. Outside Nigeria, Botswana's Minister of International Relations, Dr. Lemogwang Kwape, says all member states of the Southern Africa Customs Union, SACU, have now ratified the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area. Leaders of the region are currently meeting for their 8th summit with the theme Circle Industrialization Opportunities through Improving Economic Complexity. However, there are still challenges to overcome, and our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, highlights some of the issues facing SMEs in Botswana.
Well, according to the World Economic Forum, small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of Africa's economies. SMEs contribute about 80% of Africa's employment and 50% of gross domestic product. However, they often face many challenges, such as weak currency, crippling economy, and funding, to name a few. What efforts has the government made to enhance the capacity and skills of SMMEs, particularly in terms of innovation, technology adoption, and digitalization? We took it to the streets of Gaborone to find out firsthand the challenges facing entrepreneurs.
Yes, the government does help. They do. There is LEA, Local Enterprise Agency. You just bring your idea and then they approve. If they do, they fund you. So there are enterprises that help you start down.
Some of the challenges we're facing as business is that we don't have a place to trade. This place belongs to council. At times, when they want to utilize the place, we can't trade. Meanwhile, the Minister of International Relations, Lemogang Kwepe, says the government of Botswana is taking steps to improve the ease of doing business for SMMEs in Botswana.
One is the program called YDF, which is Youth Development Fund, which gives seed capital for young people to start small businesses, because we want them to be innovative in the space and also to enterprise, because government only hires just over 100,000 and the private sector is the major employer. So we need to promote businesses of young people. We also have CEDA, which is a Citizen Entrepreneurial Development Agency.
Botswana has a long-standing partnership with the De Beers. The partnership has contributed significantly to Botswana's economy, growth and development, making it one of the world's leading diamond producers. It is alleged that Botswana president insists on a bigger share of diamonds from De Beers venture. Minister of Minerals and Energy, Lefoko Moari, took the time to speak on the partnership, which is set to expire this Friday.
All are fully aware of what it means to Botswana, what it means to De Beers, what it means to the diamond industry. So we believe that we will gravitate towards something that will be a shared win, if not a win-win for all of us.
Strengthening institutional capacity at both the continental and national levels is crucial for the effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. However, realizing this has been a challenging task due to various factors. One of the main challenges is the limited resources and technical expertise available within many institutions. From Gaborone, Botswana, Innocent Simos, Channels Television News.
In the UK, households are pulling money out of their savings account at the fastest rate ever recorded as they draw on rainy day funds to weather the cost of living storm. Figures from the Bank of England show households withdrew a net £4.6 billion from banks and building societies in May, and that's the highest level since October 1997. The figure suggests that the funds withdrawals are deployed to sustain living standards or to pay off mortgages or even loans. Experts say this is the latest in a long line of warnings that more and more people are struggling to cope with the cost of living. Nigeria's NGX is still closed for the Eid holidays. However, markets in Europe traded cautiously higher as central bankers talk of more hikes. Let's take a look at their numbers and that of other major global equities. That's business news. Is back to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Melinda.
A building is set on fire in the Parisian suburb of Nanterre as clashes between police and protesters continue into a third night. The violence began when police shot dead a 17-year-old boy named as Nahel M during a traffic stop, as some 40,000 police officers are being deployed across France to deal with any further violence. Here's Simon Peter with more on this and other international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The mother of a 17-year-old shot dead by police after he refused a traffic stop has led a march in the Parisian suburb of Nanterre. The teenager's mother, Moina, cried while sitting on top of a truck, wearing a T-shirt with text that read, "Justice for Nahel." At the march, thousands chanted while railing against what they perceived as a culture of police impunity and a failure to reform law enforcement. At least 40,000 police officers are being deployed across France to deal with protests triggered by the shooting of the 17-year-old. France's Interior Minister says at least 180 people have been arrested after a second night of unrest, while 170 officers were injured. In Nanterre, where the incident took place, vehicles were set on fire and police fired tear gas, while people broke into the town hall and started fires outside Lille. The teenager, named as Nahel M, was shot at point-blank range as he refused a traffic stop and drove away. The police officer who shot the teenager has been placed under formal investigation for voluntary homicide. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says an alleged Russian agent involved in the deadly attack in Kramatorsk will be charged with treason, saying those helping Russia destroy lives deserve the maximum penalty. It's after 12 people, including 3 teenagers, were killed in Tuesday's missile strike on a popular restaurant. Ukraine said the man, a resident of Kramatorsk, sent video footage of the restaurant to the Russian military hours before it was destroyed. 14-year-old twin sisters and a 17-year-old girl were among those killed. Meanwhile, Russian state television has showed President Vladimir Putin meeting a crowd of well-wishers in the center of Russia's southernmost city of Derbent in Dagestan. The footage, which shows Mr. Putin shaking hands with a group of people and posing for selfies, is very different to the usual distance the Russian leader puts between himself and Russia's citizens. It comes days after his authority was shaken by a failed mutiny by members of the Wagner Group. Greece's former Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras says he is quitting as leader of the Syriza party after a crushing defeat in last Sunday's elections. The time has come to start a new cycle, Mr. Tsipras said, calling for his centre-left party to be reformed. The Conservative New Democracy Party won nearly 41% of the vote, leaving Syriza far behind on 18%. Muslim devotees across the world have offered prayers at mosques as they marked the Islamic festival of Eid al-Adha. Here in India, large crowds of worshippers gathered at the iconic Taj Mahal monument in the northern city of Agra. Similarly, New Delhi's Jama Masjid Mosque and northern Srinagar's Hazrat Bal Shrine also saw huge numbers gathered to mark the festival. And Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla have joined conservationists and celebrities donning wild headwear at the Animal Ball. The King and Queen were seen with matching masquerade masks as they mingled with guests. The Animal Ball is organised by non-profits and supported by the King and Queen, raising funds for conservation work in South Asia.
It is absolutely critical that we turn to all that indigenous knowledge and wisdom as the only way, really, of restoring the balance and harmony that is so badly needed in this world if we are going to save the planet.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Aqua United and Sporting Lagos FC have been unveiled as the wild card teams for the maiden Niger Super 8 finals holding in Lagos from July the 7th to the 16th. At the draw ceremony held this evening, the two teams will join Remo Stars, Enyimba International, Katsina United, Yobe Stars, Lobi Stars and Rivers United, who advanced from the zonal playoffs concluded last week. In Group A, Remo Stars, Katsina United, Enyimba and Sporting Lagos will compete, while Group B has Aqua United, Rivers United, Lobi Stars and Yobe Desert Stars. The winner of the post-season tournament will cart home 25 million naira. The Nigeria Football Federation will on Saturday organize a send-forth dinner for the Super Falcons ahead of the team's departure to the FIFA Women's World Cup. Wife of the president, Mrs. Remi Tinubu, will lead top government functionaries in dinner for the 9-time African champions. The Falcons will depart the country on Sunday for a 15-day camping program in Australia before they enter into camp for the tournament proper, with their base at Brisbane, which is also venue for 2 of the matches in the group phase. Nigeria's first match of the finals is against Canada at Melbourne's Rectangular Stadium on July 21st, before clashes with co-host Australia and Republic of Ireland on July 27th and 31st, respectively, at the Lang Park in Brisbane. Former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacka has announced she's set to return to professional tennis 3 years after retiring to start a family. 33-year-old Wozniacka bowed out in 2020 after winning 30 WTA titles, including a sole Grand Slam triumph at the Australian Open in 2018. Wozniacka is expected to make her return at the Canadian Open in Montreal in August before traveling to the US Open, where she reached the final in 2009 and 2014. Manchester United have reached an agreement to sign midfielder Mason Mount from Chelsea on a 5-year deal. After back-and-forth negotiations, the London club have accepted a third offer from United worth £55 million plus £5 million in add-ons. The 24-year-old Chelsea Academy product made his debut in 2017 and has since scored 33 goals and provided 37 assists in 195 appearances in all competitions for the club. The England international, who also had loan spells at Vertiz Amnen and Derby County, helped Chelsea to the Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, and FIFA Club World Cup titles during his time at the club. That's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today vowed to carry out reforms in the nation's financial sector, which he said was bleeding. Meanwhile, the president said he invoked the spirit of freedom to overcome obstacles against him during this year's presidential election. And President Tinubu said he decided to unify the official and parallel market rates to save the country from hemorrhaging. He made this comment at a civic reception that was organized for him by the Lagos state government. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Do have a good night.
Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of Entertainment News on Channels Television, your one-stop shop for all things fashion, music and lifestyle. When it comes to showbiz, you know we got you covered. I am Bukola Ogun. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Kunle Asalanyo, Richard Mufedamijo and other Nigerian filmmakers joined the